Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Plex in sunny Irmo, South Carolina. I'm JP Barry. He's Spencer Ball. We're bringing you yet another edition of Cock Hockey here on Student Gamecock Television. We are here today to see a battle between two teams on very opposite ends of the College Hockey South standings, but Spencer, nonetheless, it's the College Hockey South Game of the Week.
It sure is, and of course, as JP said, we're glad to be here. The Gamecocks, again, as you mentioned, have gotten off to a much better start than the Tigers have this year. They're at 5-1-1, and that tie was the overtime winner against Georgia, but of course it goes down as a tie in the standings. Hey, we'll hold back our feelings on that one, but it's a win in our books. But officially 5-1-1 in College Hockey South. The Auburn Tigers so far 1-4-0. It has been tough sledding for them, JP. They have a goal differential of 10 goals for them, 42 goals allowed. Not much has gone right for this team.
No, it's really, both their goalies have a goals allowed average above 8 as the Gamecocks are taking the ice here behind us, clad in those cream jerseys celebrating their national championship run. Auburn was a much better team a year ago, I feel like, but they still have some of that core. They've played a tough schedule. They played Tampa twice and the University of Alabama twice. Two
it was
very
Georgia,
good teams.
actually, not Alabama.
Georgia,
yes.
Yeah, excuse me.
Who I think is better than Alabama this year. Georgia and Tennessee are the top two teams in the College Hockey South. So, they have had, I would say, a tough go of things just scheduling-wise.
Absolutely. As both teams going through warm-up spots. We got about 6 minutes to puck drop. Spencer, it's a really important game, I think, for South Carolina to start kind of building positive momentum. You start getting into those series where you're playing twice a weekend. You start with someone in the conference who's had a tough go of things. Very few players have even scored a goal for them. They lost 15-0 to Tampa. So you see what these other teams that are contending for the College Hockey South crown and the AAU crown in general, what they've done to this Auburn team. But also on the flip side for Auburn, I think that it's about how you improve as the year goes on, the respect you can garner. That starts tonight against a very good South Carolina team.
And again, programs aren't built overnight. But again, it's definitely two different ends of the tape. For sure, South Carolina only has two guys on the team that have not registered a point. And, Auburn has guys. It seemed like they had guys with no points when we were going through their roster just pretty frequently. So their offense has not really been clicking. Again, they've only scored 10 goals all season. Their lone win came against Georgia Tech. They won 6-3 in that one. So it looks like they're going to have a pretty stiff competition in South Carolina. But again, Auburn, it's a good way to get in the flow of things. As you were saying, is this semester the Gamecocks won't have too tough of a test, but next semester they've got some of those two-game stands against the best the College Hockey South has to offer.
Absolutely, and we're going to take a quick break, get things set up here, get action ready on the ice as the teams warm up. We'll be back with you with starters, the national anthem, and puck drop. We are back here, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you the starting lineups and puck drop here in Irmo, starting with your South Carolina Gamecocks. Your starting wingers, starting with Colin Reed, the sophomore, moving on to Carson Scove at center, and then joining him is John Riggins on the right side. The Riggins leading the team in goal scorers. Your blue line is Tommy Marvin, Andrew Henderson, and in net, it's Tyler Tomoyan. Spencer, tell us about the Tigers.
Yep, we're going to start back the front. In net for the Tigers, it's the junior Derek McMaster. In defense, it's going to be Caleb Patillo, as well as the freshman Ryan Good. And up front, the forwards are going to be Alex Dukaman, Brooks Franklin, and London Pats. Not sure which one of those three is playing center, but we sure will find out soon. And JP, we're just excited to be back, man.
We are indeed. Something I'm most interested to see is, the freshman Ryan Good leading the team in points from the blue line. It's an interesting style I don't think South Carolina has seen very much, and we'll see how they adjust to it. It's going to be John Riggins hitting the dot for the faceoff, and Auburn will win it and come away with it. Dumped into the neutral zone. One back behind the net by Carolina. Spencer, for South Carolina, it's really about getting off to a fast start, isn't it?
It really is, and I think in contrary to that, I'm interested to see what Auburn does. How are they going to respond to that? Are they going to apply pressure, or are they just going to let South Carolina just kind of hack away at them?
Well, right now, South Carolina with it in the Auburn zone. Pestering it back behind the net. They'll get it up to the blue line for Marvin. Marvin sends it over to Drew Henderson. Down to the right faceoff circle to the pad of McMaster. Still back behind the net, but Auburn's able to clear. And it will go the length of the ice for an icing call with 19:09 remaining here in the first period. Spencer, that's really kind of what you see from South Carolina, the dump and chase, establishing themselves physically on the boards with the forecheck and, being able to kind of generate a chance off of that.
Yeah, and they're more than happy to, get an icing penalty, move back down to their side of the ice, and try it in the faceoff, and they win it.
Absolutely. Have it down low, just jumped the stick, tried for a turning pass to Pineda. They had McMaster leaning, wasn't able to get to it. McMaster still makes a save. Back up to the blue line. Riccitelli tried to shoot it through, and now Auburn with a chance off the rush. Big hit there at center ice. Pineda gets to it for Carolina. He'll send it over to Mulcairn. Mulcairn to Riccitelli, and he'll play off the stick of Scove. Back for Mulcairn. Mulcairn, Riccitelli, and Pineda. Pineda is going to play it down to himself behind the net. Big hit delivered there by Auburn. And it's going to be the Tigers coming away with it in the neutral zone, skating into the Carolina zone, but a nice stick play by Riccitelli. Knocks it free. Centering pass attempt finds nobody. And Auburn's bringing a level of physicality to this game early, Spencer, that might serve them well. That one's shot and deflected by a stick, and South Carolina is just going to try and settle things down, but that one's a misplayed attempt off the boards.
Yeah, Auburn. That was Callan Daly kind of getting into it with Riccitelli down here on this left side after he made a nice move but just couldn't hang on to the puck. But it's going to be interesting to see if that fares their way or not.
Yeah, and Flaherty with a nice move. Flaherty moving on. Flaherty with a shot. It's saved, and the follow-up chance is no good. Another follow-up attempt was shot into a massive body. He's not sure if McMaster got to it, but Flaherty still with possession. Tries to play it off the boards down low. Great move by Flaherty, intercepting a pass in the neutral zone and threading the needle. That one's shot on by Albers and saved. Gamecocks with it down low again. It's back up to Flaherty at the blue line. Flaherty moves it on down. Still behind the net, but South Carolina is going to go for a change. Josh Wilkins still able to hound Auburn for it. And the Tigers finally coming away with it, but a nice stick play there will break up the attempt. That one's shot on, saved by Tomoyan. 17:09 to go, and man, I think it was Marco Pineda. He had a great chance.
Yeah, after that great move from Flaherty, we've talked about it. This is our second, third season talking about how good Brennan Flaherty is with that stick, especially for a defenseman. He's not afraid to just move forward and goes for goal. McMaster, got to give him a lot of credit. He's looked really solid so far. I've got him at 5 saves.
Yeah, and Auburn, although they won the initial face-off, South Carolina with a nice defensive play to get it out. Auburn wearing white buckets with navy jerseys and navy pants. kind of the classic Auburn look with orange numbers. That one's played around back behind the net. Gamecocks coming away with it now in the neutral zone. Good moves there, but he lost it off his stick a little bit. That was Winkleblick for South Carolina, Matthew Winkleblick. Puck still back behind the Auburn net, moving around. Big hit delivered there by Kai Bonsukin. Winkleblick still trying to get to it behind the net. I think it was Tommy Marvin that put on a hit, or Adam Feldman. This is kind of the youth line for South Carolina. You have Bonsukin manning that blue line, a very, very athletic player. He'll get it over to Reed. Reed plays it up to Scove. Scove working in. Scove backhand chance saved by McMaster. Follow-up chance. And a takedown of Scove will raise no arms from the official. Puck is still loose in the corner.
Lots of physical play so far.
Winkleblick gets it up the boards. That one's shot on. Looking for a deflection out front, but McMaster was able to get to it. That was, for the Gamecocks, George Clavin, who scored one of South Carolina's many goals against Charleston. Still with it, Scove backhanded chance saved by McMaster. Spinning rebound chance, no good for the Gamecocks. Riggins coming away with it. Riggins moving in. Riggins with an attempt. He has it from the slot, and he fired it just a little wide. Gamecocks still with it on the blue line. Dunphy moves it down to Scove. Scove trying to work it down. Scove shoots it on, and McMaster makes a save, and the whistle will finally blow, but South Carolina with a flurry of chances there.
Yeah, I mean, they're just peppering him at McMaster. To his credit, he hasn't let one in almost 5 minutes of play, but some dangerous opportunities when he's not able to cleanly catch the puck. There's been a couple just left right out in front in that crease. Gamecocks just yet to find one to the back of the net.
Absolutely, as the Gamecocks looking to win possession off the faceoff, back behind the net. It's Colin Reed being the harasser. George Clavin with a big hit on the boards. Reed will come down array with it. Near side faceoff circle put on, looking for a deflection. Nice move there on the far side boards. Gamecock still moving it in. Gets it to Riggins. Riggins takes a shot. It hits the pad of McMaster. Clavin looking to keep it in. Couldn't quite get enough on it. And Auburn will chip it out. Collecting it is Reed. He'll move it over to Dunphy. And Dunphy tried to play it over to George Clavin, but a nice stick play by number 18 of Auburn. That's Colin Doob.
And single-handedly kind of won his team a line change there at the back end. That's really good play from him.
Yeah, but then on the other end, Marco Pineda with an excellent play to chip it in, play it into the Auburn zone to avoid the icing call. Auburn with an attempt at a through pass, but you know it was a little bit out in front. Gamecocks coming away with it now. Both teams with new bodies on the ice. Nick Kay will play it into the Auburn zone. Pineda racing to it. Shot up the boards to Drew Henderson. Henderson puts it on. McMaster plays it away with the pad, and it's up and out of play. 14:05 remaining here in the first period. And Spencer, it's been really what we kind of expected, I think, out of South Carolina.
Absolutely. Relentless attack, and again, just waiting for Auburn to make a mistake or just get one by McMaster. Unsuccessful so far, but I don't think you would call it an unsuccessful 6 minutes by any means, JP.
Absolutely not. And taking the faceoff for the Gamecocks will be Nick Kay. He wins it back. That one's put on by Pushkar. Saved by McMaster, though. On the ice for the Gamecocks, it's Tommy Marvin, Drew Henderson, Nick Kay, Marco Pineda, and Pushkar, a veteran lineup. Kay wins it off the faceoff. Kay shoots, saved by McMaster. Puck out in front. McMaster doesn't know where it is. It was under an Auburn skater. South Carolina will come away with it, play it back behind the net for Kay. Kay with an attempt to get it to Pineda, but it jumped his stick. Pushkar with it back behind the net. He'll play it to Pineda. Back behind the net for Kay again. Puck is loose on the boards. Pushkar, it leaks out in front, but an Auburn stick gets to it. Pineda was crashing hard for South Carolina. Nick Kay with it now, back behind the goal line. Up to Drew Henderson on the blue line. Henderson plays it all the way around to Pushkar. Pushkar down to Pineda. Pineda up to Tommy Marvin. Marvin gets it down, but it misses the stick of Pushkar. Nick Kay getting to it for South Carolina. And he won it off the boards, but it'll be kept in by Tommy Marvin. Marvin puts it on looking for a deflection from a crashing Kay. And McMaster, it didn't even get to him. That puck is finally cleared, and Auburn will go for a change. South Carolina with some personnel changes as well. The Tigers coming away with it.
You know, you say finally cleared by Auburn, but, for South Carolina, it looks like they're just going to regroup and just re-enter that zone.
Absolutely, though. Pineda with a turnover in his own zone to Auburn. They whiff on a shot attempt. Centering, an almost dangerous centering pass went straight to Drew Henderson. And now coming away with it is the Gamecocks. That's number 17, Enzo Finelli. Finelli working it down behind the goal behind him by himself. Gets it to Albers. Up to the blue line for Mulcairn. Mulcairn with a drag shot to flex wide. Garrett Albers plays it around. Finelli trying to get to it, but Auburn is going to be able to clear it. Almost a breakaway chance for number 34, Thomas Mantville.
Yeah, it was almost a really cool between-the-legs kind of outlet pass there from Auburn.
Yeah, Josh Wilkins is going to harass him behind the net. They get it down to Albers, but quick Auburn skater getting to him. That was a centering pass that found nobody. Gamecock still with it, though. Finelli has it in the slot, but he loses it. Auburn coming away with it. They're able to clear. They're going to play it up. Auburn skating on. Auburn shoots, saved by Tamoyan with the pad. That was number 22, Colin Daly. Auburn regrouping now. I believe that's their first real shot on goal of the game.
They had one other that Tamoyan easily gloved, but that one the best chance.
And it's Daly again. Daly shoots, and it's saved by Tamoyan.
So Daly showing off why he's the captain of this Auburn squad. 3 goals so far through their 5 games, leading the team in that aspect.
Yeah, he's been really good so far. I mean, 2 straight shot on goals from him, and we saw him have a nice breakaway chance earlier in the game, so he might be one to watch for the Tigers.
Absolutely. It's Matthew Winkleblick on the face-off for South Carolina. He comes away with it. They've got a 3-on-2. Winkleblick has Flaherty. He gets it over. Shot on and saved by McMaster.
That was shot by number 12 for the Gamecocks.
Connor Berman had himself quite a game against Charleston.
You know, it was maybe more of a story of who didn't have themselves quite a game against Charleston, as Gamecocks won that one 12-3 if you weren't watching. And
well, we'll hope
it was
there
a long one, I think.
Oh, we'll hope there aren't.
Mike blow up there.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll hope there isn't that, but we'll also hope that there aren't like 30-minute fight pauses in this one. Great stick play by Brendan Flaherty to try and keep it in, but coming away with it is Auburn. That one's shot on, saved by Tamoyan. Follow-up chance, nobody coming in for Auburn. That was dangerous with the puck leaking out. Tamoyan so far out in his crease. But Auburn now is going to regroup, just chip it in. Played away by Tamoyan to Brendan Flaherty. Flaherty trying to race it out of his own zone, but a bouncing pass jumps the stick of Adam Feldman. Auburn with it now back behind their own net. The rest of the way. Nice little outlet pass there for the Tigers, as they'll get a clean puck entry, but South Carolina's defense cleans that up quickly. Flaherty almost with a dangerous play, but he'll skate into the Auburn zone by himself. Deep through the leg of an Auburn defender, centering pass for Colin Reed, but Reed I don't think was ready for it. And that one is shot all the way down, but no icing. They'll say it hit a stick. And they'll get it up to John Riggins. Riggins doing some fancy skating in the neutral zone. So we hit about 10 minutes to go here in the first period. Riggins moving it in now. Riggins makes a move. Riggins shoots. It's saved by McMaster.
JP, we would have seen that one on social media if he'd have scored that one.
Oh, yes, we would have. Aiden Dunphy puts it on, but no good. Auburn now coming with it, and they'll clear it. Turnover, however, by the Tigers in the neutral zone, and John Riggins plays it off the skate of Carson Scove. Colin Reed coming away with it. Aiden Dunphy from the blue line down to Scove. Scove moving in. Scove puts it to Riggins. Riggins shoots. He scores! John Riggins. The Gamecocks lead 1-0 here with 9:24 to go. And that was really the epitome of South Carolina hockey.
Yeah, and there, JP, they just found that extra pass. Scove with some great moves, just passing it around goal. Dunphy to Scove to Riggins with the finish. You know, he likes to set up right in that little right face-off circle. He's been doing that now in his second year here. That's an easy finish for South Carolina, and after, what felt like almost 11 minutes of attacking play, they finally get on the board.
Yeah, and we'll see how Auburn can respond to that. They started to generate some chances, but South Carolina was the first to hit pay dirt. That one will be played off the stick of an Auburn player into the South Carolina zone. Drew Henderson getting to it. Auburn's defense playing a lot more aggressive in their positioning now. Garrett Albers chips that one down, and McMaster's just going to smother it and freeze it. So we'll have a face-off coming in the South Carolina attacking zone. Spencer, you know, a quick first period so far, not a lot of whistles.
Yeah, not a lot of whistles. We saw more physical play kind of in the first 5 minutes. But I like the referees are letting them play. No egregious penalties. So I think the more physical, probably the more fun it's going to be for everybody. So I know we like to see that. But again, I think Auburn's played pretty well. It was just that extra pass there at the end that got them. But they've had some breakaway chances. I think that's where they're going to need to focus if they want to equalize.
Absolutely. As Nick Kane gets that one off the board. Put it on for Pineda. Saved. Still kept in by Tommy Marvin. And Marvin is crushed behind the net. Puck still loose. Gamecock's looking for it. They have it. Tried to play it out in front for Marvin. And Auburn will come away with it with the 2-on-2. Moving on is Colin Daly. Daly backhanded shot goes wide of the net. Cleared out by Pushkar. But
That's
a nice play
again.
into Daly, yeah. And that one is shot on pad save by Tomoyan. Played back around to Daly. Auburn has it at the blue line. They'll fire it and look for a deflection. Pad save by Tomoyan. Pineda is able to come away with it for South Carolina. But the Auburn Sticks get the puck right back. Controlling it is Sam Catalano. They'll play it back behind the net. Drew Henderson with it with Tommy Marvin, his blue line mate. South Carolina now working their way out of their own zone. Drew Henderson's just going to shoot it on into the Auburn zone. Gamecock's going for a change, but Wilkins is keeping Auburn occupied in their own zone. Well, Ronan Mulcairn, fresh on the ice, will get to it. He'll play it over to Ben Riccitelli. Turnover at neutral ice. And Auburn is going to not get a power play. It looked like South Carolina might get called for a tripping. But a listless pass will find Auburn's stick at center ice. Fired on. Tomoya made a play with the glove. He kept that one alive, passing it back to Riccitelli.
It looked like a third baseman on that one, just a little liner to him, if you will.
Yeah, and now South Carolina having a bit of more trouble getting it through the blue line. They're trying to, carry the puck into the Auburn zone. That one is just shoveled into the stratosphere by Ben Riccitelli. But Spencer, what do you think about Auburn's defensive adjustments since the South Carolina goal?
Well, I think clearly they're trying to be more aggressive and equalize themselves, which, JP, you don't play hockey to lose, so it makes a lot of sense that they're trying to score goals themselves. But in doing so, they're forcing the game to South Carolina a little bit more in their own zone. So I think the Gamecocks are just going to need to maybe readjust themselves. But 13 minutes in, I love what South Carolina's done so far.
Now Flaherty has it for Carolina. He'll dump it down to Wilkins. Finelli trying to make a move, but Auburn will just shovel him off. Tiger's still with it. Fires on wide of the net. Kept in by Auburn, and that one hit a Gamecock skater. The puck is loose in the slot. Auburn fires on, and Auburn scores the tying goal. 6:33 remaining in the second, and it's all knotted up at 1 off the stick of TJ Runchi, his second goal of the season.
I mean, what a finish from him, man. I mean, that puck was kind of a slap shot from Auburn, just hit somebody like in the chest for South Carolina, but it fell right in the slot, as you said, and Runchi just put it away, top corner. Tomoyan, ever the great goalie, just couldn't get his arm to it.
He was starting, he was kind of on his heels at times there. Auburn's uber aggressive approach was starting to generate results, and well, they get a bounce there, and they take advantage of it. And we're all knotted up at 1 here with 6:25 to go. Matthew Winkleblick will get it down there for the Gamecocks. Connor Berman's stick got tied up. Attempt at an outlet pass was broken up. George Clavin gets to it for the Gamecocks. Berman plays it to Winkleblick. Winkleblick fires on. That one hit the crossbar, I think, and McMaster tried to freeze it, but he couldn't quite corral it. Winkleblick still with it. He gets it up to Clavin. Not the blue line, but puck just a little bit out of reach of Winkleblick. Aiden Dunphy trying to get to it. Centering pass. Winkleblick couldn't quite get his stick to it. Still kept in by South Carolina. George Clavin fires from the point. hit a couple bodies, and it's played away by Auburn. And now the Tigers with a chance at a counterattack. They're going to chip it down in and go for a change. But winning it away is Auburn, and they almost score a goal off of shooting it off of
The
Tamoyen's
backside
foot.
of his leg. Yeah, that would have been very rough.
That was almost a brutal break as Pushkar moving in now, or Scove, excuse me, moving on for South Carolina. Puck is played away and back to the blue line pairing. George Clavin gets it up to Reed, who moves it to Scove. Scove over there, and then South Carolina player gets tied up and brought down. No call. South Carolina still skating with it, though. Colin Reed taking it behind the net. The goal line pass to John Riggins. Riggins gets it over to Reed. Reed passed back up to the blue line for Marvin. Back down to Reed at the faceoff circle. Gets it down behind the net for Riggins. Riggins plays it up to Marvin. Marvin puts it on. Deflection out in front, and South Carolina scores! Colin Reed. This deflection from the goal line, and South Carolina leads 2-1 with 4:43 remaining.
And, you know, just like that, South Carolina gets right back in it. That's just great play from them. Putting things on goal, good things tend to happen. The more you hear me and JP talk about Derek McMaster, the better you can think South Carolina's offense is playing, because you got to test the goalie to get by him. And that was just, it's been an excellent assist setting up the goal so far tonight for South Carolina.
And something for South Carolina that's kind of followed this team throughout our run here, calling their games, has been resilience. You know, after they respond to adversity well, and we just saw it there as they retake the lead with 4:37 to go. And that one's deflected into the Auburn zone, so South Carolina is already hard at work. On the forecheck, Auburn trying to chip it away. Nick Kay got to stick to it. But Auburn, off a weird deflection, they're able to get it onside, put on, deflected by the stick of Henderson. Trying to clear, they can't. Auburn with a shot now. They score through the 5-hole of Tamoyen. It's number 9, Alex Duchemin. His first goal of the season. And kind of an awkward pass attempt from South Carolina to clear it. Tamoyen wasn't down and set, and Duchemin just rifled it through his 5-hole. Spencer.
Auburn's 2 goals have been phenomenal. I mean, just individual great shots. But for South Carolina, it's 2 times either they've gotten a bad bounce or you have a bad pass that leads to that. And Duchemin just put it right under Tamoyen's, stick side, right under that right hand of his. Great finish, man. I mean, Auburn is really, I would say, punching above their weight so far tonight, JP.
Well, it's punch, counter-punch hockey, and South Carolina just received a brutal counter-punch from Auburn. And the Tigers win the face-off and play it back behind South Carolina's net, but with no deflection in. It'll be icing with 4:02 remaining in the first period.
Yeah, for South Carolina, you just got to become the aggressors again, keep playing good offense, because, again, they've looked really good once they've gotten set up tonight in that offensive zone. And when they make the extra pass so far, it's resulted in 2 goals for them. On defense, just got to take care of the puck, JP.
Absolutely, and South Carolina coming away with it now, but it's deflected up and out of the Auburn zone. Racing to it is Daly, who has been, he's stuck out more than any Auburn player so far. I think that hasn't scored a goal. But now it'll be Garrett Albers. Albers moving on. Albers skating it into the Auburn zone. He's going to slow down in the corner and play it behind the net. Enzo Finelli trying to get to it, but he was hounded by a Tiger. And now Auburn with it on the counterattack. Moving up against Ben Riccitelli and Ronan Mulcairn, but Riccitelli. Auburn regaining possession, shot on, blocked by the stick of Ronan Mulcairn. Gamecocks with it now in transition. It's Enzo Finelli. Wilkins shot but forgot to send the puck with his stick. Gamecocks still keeping it in there. Mulcairn with a nice play. Oh, just bounces outside the blue line for Riccitelli. South Carolina going for a wholesale change now. And that one will be intercepted at the center ice by Brendan Flaherty.
Yeah, and the Auburn defender, Pekuris, there ducked wisely as Flaherty might have took his head off with that puck. I mean, he lasered it down in that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Now a neutral zone turnover by Auburn, or by South Carolina. Auburn with possession, trying to just play it down. They'll go for a change. Gamecocks looking to take advantage of it. Connor Berman working in and off the pass to Flaherty. He'll dump it back to Flaherty. Flaherty toe drag. Flaherty centering pass. Berman just got his stick tied up. He had McMaster leaning, and now it's a 2-on-1 developing for Auburn. It's only Bonsukin back, and that one hit the post. Auburn hitting the post, and now off the counter rush, it's Connor Berman. Berman toe drags, hits the pad of McMaster. Adam Feldman couldn't quite get to it. Winklebleck calling for it in the slot. Winklebleck down. Flaherty with a great shot, but it's an even better save by McMaster. Winklebleck gets it behind the net. Pass to Berman. Berman with a shot, and it's blocked by a Tiger. Now Auburn going the other way with it. And absorbing a huge hit is number 10 for the Tigers as he continues to have possession. They tried to play that one off the back of Tomoyan again.
Almost worked again, JP. I mean, a lot of dangerous bounces coming in that Auburn offensive zone.
Yeah, Colin Dube was the puck carrier for Auburn there, and he was a mountain of a man on a mission as well. And now turning it over is Auburn with a spinning attempt. But that one was a listless pass that was nearly picked off by who else but Daly. Auburn carrying it in now. Auburn moving in. Daly trying to play it to himself, but coming away with it is Colin Reed. Reed plays it up to Riggins. Riggins gets it over to Scove. Scove moves it in, dumps it back to Riggins. Riggins lost the puck, and he goes down. Still loose in the corner. 50 seconds to remaining in the first period. Dunphy can't quite keep that in the Auburn zone. The Tigers will go for a change. 44 seconds remaining in the first period. Chipped in by Dunphy. Reed trying to get to it. Scove intercepts it on the boards. Scove down to Reed.
Under 30 now, JP.
Yeah, Gamecocks with one last chance. Aiden Dunphy gets it up the blue line, surveying his options. He'll put it on wide. Colin Reed gets to it. Reed back up to Dunphy at the blue line. Dunphy puts it on, looking for a deflection. He scores! It's John Riggins off the deflection out in front. Aiden Dunphy put it on net. Riggins got his stick to it. And the Gamecocks lead 3-2 with just 15.3 remaining in the first.
And JP, it's just, again, you test McMaster, puck out in front. Riggins puts it away. Aiden Dunphy, I think, has played really, really well tonight. But you know one thing I'm going to highlight? What a celebration. John Riggins put the glove on top of the stick, used it like a selfie stick, and everybody gathered around it. That'll get the fans going. And one thing we haven't mentioned yet tonight, it's another packed crowd here at the Plex.
That's true. As faceoff will come, and the final seconds of this first period will tick away. South Carolina, I think, content to head into the locker room with that 3-2 lead. But Auburn turning up the heat. And we will hit the end of the first period here. 3-2 your score, South Carolina leads. You know something that really stood out to me on that goal for Riggins? He got rewarded for his unselfishness. Because off the second goal, which was scored by Reed, Riggins shot for the deflection off his stick. Now he's rewarded with the deflection of his own out in front to put the Gamecocks out in front. Spencer, your thoughts after 20 minutes of action?
Well, you know what? I think you got to credit the Tigers. I think this first period was definitely a little closer than maybe we expected it to be, especially because the only thing we really had to go by was the numbers, right, JP? Hockey's not played on a stat sheet. It's played on ice, and so far the Tigers have looked really good through 2 minutes. But dare I say the Gamecocks look even better. You know, they have the 3-2 lead. Offensively, unselfish play, I think, has been really the motive for these guys so far, and it's proven dividends, 3 goals so far.
Yeah, and you know, Coach Sawa and company are going to be looking to clean up some of those defensive miscues as we head into the first intermission. We'll be back after this break to bring you the second period of action here from the Plex. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here for the second period of action between the University of South Carolina Gamecocks and the Auburn Tigers. Some college hockey South action coming to you live here from Irmo. I'm here with Spencer Ball, and we're looking at a matchup that's 3-2 after 20. Spencer, as this second period gets underway, what do you like to see out of both of these teams?
Yeah, JP, for South Carolina, I mean, it's been their unselfishness, as we talked about throughout that whole first period, that set up easy opportunities for them. They don't have to do anything too hard, and I think if they just keep making the extra pass, they'll be good. For the Tigers, you know, I think they kind of startled South Carolina a little bit with the way they ramped up the pressure after South Carolina scored the first goal. So just keep forcing the issue, put pressure on South Carolina, and try to make them make mistakes in their own defensive end.
Yeah, and as you say it, South Carolina with an opportunity as it's shot off the pad of McMaster. Colin Reed with it still there. He'll play it down the blue line, or play it behind the goal line to John Riggins. Riggins still moving. Gets it down back to Reed. Reed to Riggins. Riggins to Reed. And now Reed surveying. Gets it over to Marvin, who will play it back down to Carson Scove. Riggins with it by the goal line. The official just intercepted the pass, and Auburn will come away with it now. It's a great breakout opportunity by the refs, but Drew Henderson with a punishing blow, and Riggins desperately banging his stick, looking for the Gamecocks to try and take advantage of Auburn off the exchange. Marvin with the shot. Oh, he got it to Scove, and Scove scores. Carson Scove puts the Gamecocks up 4-2 with 18:44 to go.
JP, that was just sick. That was insane. I mean, Marvin with a pass. Scove just timed it perfectly, slotted it right past McMaster. All that coming from an absolute bone-crushing hit from Drew Henderson. That's just great play right there, man.
Yeah, you really started with Henderson just blowing up that zone entry from Auburn. And, you know, Auburn was going for the change while it happened. It was a perfect storm. Scove, I mean, by the time he got the puck on his stick, McMaster had laned all the way out of his, you know, there was nothing he could do. Nick Kay coming with it now into the Auburn zone. Pass all the way over to Ronan Mulcairn. It jumped his stick a little bit. Down and around to Marco Pineda, who will play it back for Pushkar. Pushkar looking around. Pineda skating with it. Pineda over to Mulcairn. Pineda shoots on. Or it was Mulcairn. Now back to Pineda behind the net. Pushkar with it. Tried to play it up the boards, but Auburn going for the clear. Missed an outlet pass to Daly. And Mulcairn clears it. Coming away with it now is Pushkar.
That was an excellent job by Mulcairn dealing with that pressure. If Auburn was able to steal that puck from him, they would have had a rush on goal there.
Absolutely. Now Daly working it down, looking for a deflection out in front. Auburn going for a change. Ronan Mulcairn will collect the puck. And a penalty coming up to South Carolina for cross-checking. With 17:48 remaining in the second period, we're going to see special teams action for the first time in this one. And it's been a penalty kill for South Carolina that has been very active, Spencer.
It sure has. You know, if you're a South Carolina hockey fan, you are certainly aware that the team plays a physical brand. You know, maybe sometimes to their fault, but that's their brand, and they're sticking to it. It's a key opportunity here for Auburn to try and claw this back to a one-goal game. You know, South Carolina got to put on their best kill here, and something we've seen them be pretty good at. Am I right, JP?
Yeah, Pats wins the faceoff. That one's put on a deflected off of Flaherty's stick. Auburn keeping it in. It's played with a high stick. Faceoff will come. Glove side of Tomoyan.
You know, this will be, I think, one of the first times we'll see Auburn actually slow the game down on offense and try and actually work the puck around in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and that one was another Auburn attempt to play it off the back, or off from behind the net. And now McMaster has a choice to make, and he'll play it out. Minute 35 remaining on the power play for Auburn. Tigers working it down, but Connor Berman with some hounding defense. Now Auburn moving it in. Auburn fires it on wide. South Carolina clears it. Pats gets it over to his teammate. They'll look to break something out, and they do. It's a 3-on-2 developing for Auburn, and the South Carolina player just lost his stick due to just perhaps one of the more absurd interference calls I've ever seen. Not in the fact that it's insane that it happened. The Auburn player just kind of golf swung his stick and took a Gamecock stick with it. So now it will be 4-on-4 hockey for 1:09.
And JP, one of the dumbest penalties we've maybe seen here at the
God,
Plex.
yeah.
The puck wasn't even there. I mean, there was just really no reason for that. Auburn just kind of shot themselves in the foot. Now they have even strength hockey at 4-on-4, and then they'll go a man down for almost a minute. But this was their opportunity to try and get back in this one, and they just squander it due to a boneheaded mistake.
Yep, and now Auburn coming with it off the face-off. They're going to get down to it behind the Carolina net. Played up to Daly. Daly lost possession. Now South Carolina with a chance on a breakout. It's Enzo Finelli. Finelli skating in. Finelli shoots, and it's saved by the arm of McMaster. Coming away with it is Auburn. They'll look for their own breakthrough chance. And here it comes off of Daly's skates. Daly's going to slow it down, wait for his teammates. Cross-ice pass. His teammate wasn't really expecting it. It's a spinning try for Auburn. He can't even get it off the launch pad. But he's absorbing contact from Aiden Dunphy. And Finelli will come away with it for the Gamecocks. Winklebleck has Finelli to his right. Winklebleck moving on, and he'll just kind of play it to the boards.
Hey, they're waiting for their extra man, which they get in 10 seconds, JP.
Yep, Dunphy with it on the blue line. Gets it over to Marvin. Marvin surveying. Marvin gets it back over to Dunphy. Dunphy looking for a deflection, fires it on. McMaster will glove it and freeze play. With 1 second remaining of 4-on-4 action, we'll have 52 seconds of a Gamecock man advantage afterwards. And Spencer, you know, both teams going with wholesale personnel changes. The Gamecocks getting John Riggins, Jake Pushkar, and Marco Pineda on the ice with Tommy Marvin manning that blue line. They're playing this very aggressively.
They sure are, and this is the power play unit for the Gamecocks. We see a lot of these guys when they go a man up, and these are just really great passers, but they got guys who can kind of set up in their little offices, as we call them.
Yep, and Reed will come on for the Gamecocks now on the power play. They get it up to Tommy Marvin. He'll fire from the point, deflected wide. John Riggins collects it. Mucked up on the boards by Auburn, and they're able to clear it, and coming away with a breakaway chance for Auburn is number 9. He'll just move on, he'll fire, and it's saved by Tamoyan. He didn't really know where it went. That was Alex Dukamen, who actually has a goal on the night. A huge play off the penalty kill for him in Auburn. Now South Carolina with just 20 seconds left, they have a chance for one more rush. It'll be Riggins bringing it on. Riggins is going to move around, bringing it all the way around the net.
He's so shifty.
He'll play it up to Marvin. Marvin has Pineda to his left. Marvin over to Riggins. Riggins down to the goal line. Tried to play it off a stick. Reed still with it for the Gamecocks. Auburn has killed the penalty, but South Carolina still has hemmed him deep. Cross-ice pass for Pineda, found nobody, but Marvin still with it. Marvin back over to Riggins. Riggins surveying. Riggins shoots, looking for a deflection, and McMaster makes the save. They got the deflection, but it went right into McMaster's breadbasket. But a big kill for Auburn, but South Carolina generated some nasty chances there.
They did. Again, credit to Auburn. Played good defense there. But again, I think you got to, for South Carolina, you did all the right things. Except for their one mistake there, JP. Turning over the puck, trying to do a little bit too much. You know, almost gave Auburn a breakaway goal that would have made this a one-goal game, which is exactly what the Tigers want. The Gamecocks just want to extend this lead.
Yeah, and now Auburn with a shot on that'll go wide. Gamecocks coming away with it in their own zone. They'll try to play it all the way up and out. It'll get to Winklebleck. Shot it a little wide of Connor Berman. Ben Riccitelli moving on now. He'll carry it into the zone. Riccitelli skating down. Shot it into the skate of a Tiger. That one goes all the way around for Andrew Feldman. Feldman is crunched in the corner by number 8, Caleb Patillo. But South Carolina still with the puck in the Auburn zone. Tigers looking to clear it, and they finally do off the stick of Daly, and Daly wins a 2-on-1 developing for Auburn. That one's a centering pass out in front. Tamoyan with the initial save, and then he'll cover it up. Much to the applause of everyone in attendance in the Plex. But Tamoyan, I mean, that one was out in front. I think all out alone was Thomas Mantville.
And you know, what's great about that play from Tomoyan was not just sitting back on his heels and letting the puck come to him. He went out and got it before Auburn could get in the crease and fire on a cleaner shot. You know, you'd rather just take the chance and muck up the play.
Yeah, and the Gamecocks trying to win it off the face-off. It was on the stick of Mantville, but then again, he cannot pull the trigger. But Auburn hounding South Carolina at their own blue line. It'll be carried in. No penalty. Coming away with it is Brendan Flaherty.
You know, that one looked a little dangerous, but I think just an incidental collision.
And now it's Bonsukin. Bonsukin shoots off the pad of McMaster. Finelli couldn't get his stick to it off the rebound chance. It went right to him with an open net. And that one's going to go up and out of play. It's deflected. No delay of game. 13:08 remaining in the second period. If you're just now joining us, it was 3-2 after one, and South Carolina notched a fourth goal in the early onset of this second period. Yeah, but Auburn has played very well in the response to that, so we'll see what they can do here.
You know, JP, I think Auburn has just played a really solid hockey game all around. You know, they trail 4-2, but considering how they've lost some of their games earlier in this season, you got to think this is at least promising from them.
Yeah, and Garrett Albers with a big hit there. Kai Bonsukin coming away with it for South Carolina. He tried to play it out, jumped a stick, and now Auburn losing control. McMaster was getting in position like he was going to have to save a shot from his own team. Both teams just exchanging the fun tradition of passing it back and forth between each other.
You know, to avoid the offsides there.
That one was almost an excellent breakout opportunity for Auburn, but he took a slip and fell. Now moving on is Flaherty. Flaherty looking, he'll fire, and it hit McMaster somewhere. But Flaherty got right back to it. Pineda trying to keep it in for South Carolina. And Auburn is able to clear it. Now Auburn moving it on, and it's going to be in a chance for the Tigers, but a great sliding play by Aiden Dunphy.
Dunphy's a guy who's been great tonight, JP. We've seen him fire multiple shots on and make that extra pass. I believe he's already got one assist on the night, but huge defensive play there.
Yeah, Nick Kay will pass it to himself off the body of an Auburn player, and he'll have it back behind the net. Gamecock still looking to wrestle away possession. George Clavin will play it down, but Auburn will get to it. 11:40 to go here in the second period. Aiden Dunphy with the Gamecocks, he'll survey, and that just completely missed the Gamecock stick, but they'll say no icing. Nick Kay coming away with it on the boards. He'll play it down to Pineda. Pineda absorbs a big hit, and he'll keep it on his stick. Pineda with a backhanded opportunity, and he'll miss it wide. 11:11 remaining in the second period. Dunphy keeping it in. He'll get it down for the Gamecocks. Nick Kay surveying. He's taken down. There will be a penalty coming up to the Auburn Tigers. Holding will be the call against Auburn, and South Carolina will go to a full power play now with 11:03 remaining in the second period.
Yeah, not a great penalty there. It's Caleb Patillo headed to the box. JP just didn't look like he needed to do that. Smart play from Nick Kay there, just buying into that contact. Not to say he flopped or anything. It was definitely a penalty, but, you know, there were two Tigers right there on him, and just committed another silly penalty. And when you're down 2 goals, it's those mistakes you really want to avoid, but here comes this power play unit.
And now coming away with it is going to be Jake Pushkar and the Gamecocks off the faceoff. Tommy Marvin gets it over to Riggins. Riggins surveying, gets it back to Marvin. Marvin down to Pineda for the one-timer, and it goes wide, up and out of play. That one, I think, just hit the pad of McMaster. He was a millisecond late to that.
Would have snuck in bottom left. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A good save from him. And JP, how do you think McMaster's done tonight? I think he's done pretty solid, all things considered.
Considering his season-long numbers, I think it's been a massive improvement. But, you know, some of it has just been tough plays. Like, how can he be expected to, you know, kind of make that?
Two places at once for some of these goals. These just kind of left helpless on the backside.
McMaster, it looked like maybe his equipment was maybe kind of loose. Auburn will win it off the faceoff and launch it the length of the ice as they look to kill off another penalty. Tommy Marvin getting to it for the Gamecocks. He'll get it up to Pushkar. Pushkar working it in. He'll get it over to Riggins. Riggins to Marvin. Marvin from the point. Back over to Riggins. Riggins fires, and it hits the skate of a Tiger, but Riggins bench pressed him to the ground. Marvin back from the point. He'll play it over to Riggins. Riggins down to Pushkar. Pushkar cross ice to Pineda. Jumped his stick a little. Back over to Marvin at the point. Over to Pineda on the faceoff circle. Back to Marvin. Marvin shoots, looking for a deflection, but he can't find the stick of Reed. But Reed will get away with it. Pushkar will play it up to Riggins. 55 seconds remaining on the power play. Riggins moves now onto the point. Riggins takes a shot, hits the pad of McMaster. Rebound chance. Marvin tried a cross-ice pass, and now Auburn will clear it all the way down. Spencer, interesting possession there from the Gamecocks. Maybe their best, but now they'll try for a quick re-entry. It's Nick Kay off the pass from Pineda. Kay working it down behind the net. Kay getting it up to the blue line for Flaherty. Flaherty dumping it back off for Kay. Kay looking for a shot. It's blocked. Finelli surveying now. Finelli dumps it up for Kay, and he took a tumble. Carson Scove moves it over to Flaherty. Flaherty back to Scove. Flaherty shoots. He's saved by McMaster.
McMaster's been really good on this power play. Some tough plays from him, a lot of screens, and when these pucks come in, just absolutely howling from long range. He's had some tough plays, but he's answered the call here.
Absolutely, and with 8 seconds remaining on the power play, if you win the face-off chance, you get an opportunity for, a little bit of time on the main up, and of course it'll take Auburn a little bit to get that fifth guy down here. So Carson Scove, Nick Kay, Enzo Finelli, Brendan Flaherty, and Kai Bonsukin will try to win it here for South Carolina, and they do. Nick Kay with it. Kay back behind the net. Plays it over to Scove. Scove gets it to Flaherty. Flaherty with the new Auburn Tiger right behind him. Fires on, saved by McMaster. Rebound chance by Flaherty, saved. And McMaster will finally cover it. Someone for Auburn lost a stick and is looking for the same call South Carolina got on the other end of the ice.
This one nowhere near as violent because I
No,
don't think
or
anybody
stupid.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
8:54 remaining in the second period. It's 4-2 Gamecocks. A successful kill from Auburn after some high danger chances for South Carolina.
Absolutely. I mean, the Auburn defense really did a great job there, and preventing yourself going down 3 goals is really huge, JP, because we've seen just random outbursts of offense in this game for both teams, I'd say.
Absolutely, and now Auburn coming away with it, looking to exit their own zone, but it's turned over. Connor Berman tried to fire it on, hit a stick. Gamecocks keeping Auburn hemmed in their own zone. McMaster will play that one out. He could have froze it. Now Auburn finally trying to carry the puck out of their own zone. Tommy Marvin will interrupt it. Drew Henderson tried to make a nice little move through some bodies, but now Auburn with a chance off the rush. Stick play broke that one up, and Auburn will go for a wholesale line change. South Carolina can try to take advantage if they want to, but they were offside.
Almost really good thinking there from South Carolina. Just mistimed it a little bit, but kind of a dangerous time to go for all 5 skaters there for Auburn.
Absolutely. I mean, they got away with it because it was kind of an awkward pass, and Adam Feldman couldn't quite get to it. But now Auburn with a chance to face off in the South Carolina zone. 8:07 remaining in the second period. The face-off is won by Auburn. Now the puck is just in the corner. Drew Henderson coming away with it for South Carolina for a moment. And he'll clear it on out. Enzo Finelli
Nearly had a chance, but it was a good stick play by number 3, Javier Wooster.
for Auburn. I don't think Auburn has a shot on goal in this second half, or the second period.
Certainly has been a while if they have.
And Wilkins keeps it in now. Garrett Albers will play it up to Marvin. Marvin back down to Albers.
South Carolina's been really good behind Auburn's net. That's kind of where they find a lot of those extra passes.
Yeah, but Auburn will play it off the boards and up to themselves. And that one is nearly shot up in here.
Hey, we would have made the play.
Oh, absolutely. It would have stung, I think, but both teams going for personnel changes as the faceoff will come in neutral ice. 7:15 remaining in the second period now. It's been a good game, I think, so far. It's been, even keeled, I think, a lot of the times. South Carolina's goals is, that one just, I guess, got started a little too early.
Yeah, we'll do it all over again right here. 7:15 left, though, JP. This game's flying by so far.
It is, and that one's tied up off the faceoff and chipped up and will stay in play. Auburn tried to play it off the bounce, so they couldn't get a stick to it. And now it's Jake Pushkar with it behind the net for South Carolina. Pushkar works it up. Nick Kay has it. And Pushkar will come away with it once again. He'll get it up to Ronan Mulcairn, who will shoot it around for Nick Kay. Kay will try to play back for Pineda. Mulcairn down for Pineda. Auburn tying up some sticks. And Pushkar gets to it. Pass just a little bit out in front of Kay. But Riccitelli will intercept it out of the air. He'll shoot it on net. And McMaster will cover it up. So a face-off coming with 6:27 to go in the Auburn zone. And South Carolina continues to just hound the Tigers.
Yeah, again, we haven't seen Auburn really set up in their offensive zone at all tonight. Really, both of their goals have come from deflections or turnovers from South Carolina. We haven't seen them in the offensive zone really at all. I have Tomoyan having 2 saves this period, but both of them have not come in quite some time, JP.
Scove off the faceoff, shoots into the chest of McMaster, saved. Kept in by the Gamecocks, but it's going to be played away to Duchemin. Duchemin with a move, but he couldn't get it back on his stick, and Tomoyan will cover it up. And the ref with no tolerance for extracurricular activities after the whistle will shut that one down, but
A great play by the goal scorer, Alex Duchemin.
He's been really good so far. I mean, he was kind of been involved in a lot of Auburn's offense. It's been him and Callan Daly, the guys who have really stuck out on the offensive end. Again, Daly not a goal scorer. It was Runchie who scored their first goal of the night, but
then Duchemin had the second.
yeah, those two guys have really been all over them.
South Carolina wins another faceoff, and it'll be Cullen Reed carrying it into the zone. Dumps it off for Riggins. Riggins skating around. Riggins puts it on, and it's deflected up. And Brendan Flaherty will get to it to keep it in for the Gamecocks. Carson Scove working to it now. Scove loses it near the faceoff dot. Colin Reed plays it back behind the net for Riggins. Riggins gets it to Scove. But that one is turned over to Duchemin again. Duchemin coming away with it. Lost it a little bit off his stick. Unable to play it into the South Carolina zone. Jake Pushkar didn't quite get enough on that pass. But now it's Daly. Daly with a move. Daly gets by Bonsukin. Daly shoots on wide, and Auburn going for a full line change. And I think we're going to get a too many men call on the Tigers. There were about 12 million Auburn Tigers on the ice there.
The entire population of the university.
Absolutely.
That's not very smart there, JP, is it?
No, it is not. You know, you finally kind of get a breakout, and you throw it in the garbage by committing one of the funnier penalties in hockey. Hitting the box for the Tigers will be number 77, Andrew Bullock.
The sacrificial lamb for the too many men call, I fear.
Yeah, and the faceoff will come. Glove side of McMaster. Gamecocks win it. It's Brendan Flaherty with it. Flaherty gets it over to Scove. Scove down to the goal line. Shot on, deflected up and out of play with 5:03 remaining in the second period.
And you know, for head coach Ryan Rutz of the Auburn Tigers, you got to think some of these things can definitely be cleaned up going forward. You can't have too many men on the ice. That's like one of my least favorite penalties, I think, in just any sport. You got to have the right amount of players on the field.
Bonsukin tried to shoot that one and hit a skate. Brendan Flaherty moving in on now. And, you know, one thing for Auburn that's been consistent this whole way is Caleb Daly almost had a one-on-one chance with Tomoyan. Really would have been 1-0.
I mean, that was he's been racking up the one-on-one so far.
The penalty kill for Auburn has been tremendous. They have really generated some chances, and if they can kind of keep this one within shouting distance after all these penalties, you feel good about that. There's a dump-off pass for Finelli who couldn't get a stick to it, and that one is I mean, those guys gave their lives to play that puck, and Auburn, the winner of the sacrificial duel, clears that one as we hit 1:05 remaining on the power play for South Carolina.
Yeah, thankfully everyone's okay. That looked a little dangerous for a second there. I mean, just diving after the puck.
A stick broke as well. Enzo Finelli had it back behind the net. There's a centering pass. Bonsukin with the slot. Bonsukin drags it and fires it wide. John Riggins collects it. He gets it back behind the net for Finelli. A one-timer chance for Nick Kay is no good. Bonsukin keeps it in. Tommy Marvin has it now. Marvin cross-ice to Riggins. Riggins over to Marvin. 30 seconds remaining on the power play. Riggins with it now. He'll survey. He'll fire it on. And he scores! John Riggins! He just toe-dragged that one and fired it top right. And the Gamecocks lead 5-2 with 3:34 remaining in the second period.
JP, John Riggins is just too good at hockey, I think. I mean, that was just an absurd finish. The toe drag, as you mentioned, and just tucked it top right. I mean, just class from him. And JP, 3 goals. You know what that means.
Hey, you know, I don't see many people throwing their hats onto the ice, but yeah.
At least a tip of the cap for the old guy. I mean, Riggins has been awesome tonight. His 3rd goal, and again, it's just the unselfish play for the Gamecocks is the power play. They just found Riggins wide open, and Auburn gave him way too much space to work with.
And that, you know, that area of the ice is really his office. And so now Auburn, they're going to have to collect themselves if they want to keep this one from spiraling out of hand. Another stick is shattered. So Auburn, you know, down a couple guys as Feldman moves on. That one's shot on wide. Dunphy will collect it. He'll try to play it on. Connor Berman back behind the net. Pass back wide of the net. That one, a centering pass to an open Berman, hit the post. George Clavin skating around with it now. 3 minutes remain in the second period. That one up to Berman. Berman gets it down to Winkleblick. Winkleblick down to Feldman. Feldman back up to Berman. Berman will fire it on and right into the chest to McMaster, who will collect it for the save.
I tell you what, Auburn gets back to equal strength, and it doesn't look like anything has changed since the power play. This Gamecock offense is just firing right now. And, you know, it doesn't matter really what line they put out there. It feels like they're playing freely. They're moving the puck around, and Auburn is just, you know, they're just chasing the Gamecock's tail.
Absolutely. Face-off will be coming glove side of McMaster. Wilkins will win it. Tie up off the face-off. And Auburn's going to clear. They had Daly trying to run, I guess, and I think they'll call a hand pass on South Carolina on George Clavin, which will bring the face-off to pretty much the opposite side of the ice. Mirror flipped.
There you go. And, you know, let's just take a little time to highlight John Riggins' season so far. Through 7 games now, he's got 12 goals and 17 points.
And really 6 because he didn't play against Charleston.
No, I was including this as the 7th. Yeah, no,
Oh, true.
before this, before this, he only played 6 games. So in all those stats were in the month of September. He put up 14 points, was one of College Hockey South's stars of September.
Yeah, and Garrett Albers now with a nice move down into the Auburn zone. They get it over to Dunphy. Dunphy's going to put it on in a pad save by McMaster. Will stay in play. Finelli and company getting 2 on the boards, but Auburn's going to come away with it. Auburn moving on now. Trying to get past Dunphy. They'll get it back behind the net, but the stick of Dunphy breaks that up. South Carolina coming away with it. They're going to have an opportunity here. It's going to be Dunphy. He's got Finelli with him. Over to Finelli, but the stick is tied up by Ryan Good. They'll move it up to Daly. Daly will just pitch it on, and Tomoyan is going to freeze it. Auburn was going for a change. South Carolina maybe could have attacked that, but
One thing I've noticed from Auburn that I don't really love, JP, I understand you want to catch South Carolina leaning, but sometimes I feel like they fire too many shots from distance. They're not really trying to make that extra pass. And
well, they do that too much for a team that hasn't been reliable on the faceoff.
Exactly.
If you can do that and you can win faceoffs to set up offensive zone stays, sure. But it hasn't really been what we've seen from Auburn so far. And speaking of the devil, the Gamecocks come away with it. Nick Kay will dump it off for Tommy Marvin. Marvin working it down.
But yet we really haven't seen an impressive offensive stay from Auburn so far in this game, really, JP.
No, and that was shot on and saved by McMaster with 1:20 to go here in the second period. On the ice for the Gamecocks, it's Nick Kay, Marco Pineda, Jake Pushkar, Drew Henderson, and Tommy Marvin. So you've got your captain and your two alternate captains and your starting blue line. Nick Kay getting to it after that cross-ice pass. But it's going to be Auburn. Can Auburn get something going on the rush with 1:05 remaining in the period? They'll move it down. Pass down for Duquesne. Loose puck out in front. Tamoyan bats it down. Still loose. Drew Henderson gets to it, and he'll clear it.
Yeah,
And they'll actually keep it onside. Drew Henderson shoots. It's saved by McMaster. Loose puck, and there'll be no goal. No goal. McMaster got to it. It nearly drifted across the goal line. But McMaster sprawled out and made a terrific save to keep this one from being 6-2.
You know, really, I think McMaster's been really good in this one. He hasn't really let in any stinkers, and he's really being tested. I mean, there is just a ton of pucks flying his way. He's been diving all over the place, so you got to credit him for being really, really good. But on the other end, Tyler Tamoyan, in his toughest task of the second half, made an excellent double save to keep the 5-2 lead intact.
And John Riggins will lose the faceoff with 45 seconds remaining, but the Gamecocks get it back. Colin Reed with it. He's got Riggins out in front. Centering pass finds nobody, but Riggins collects it behind the net. He's taken down, no call. Auburn trying to clear it. And that one is going to be offside. South Carolina will have to touch up. 25 seconds remain in the period. Auburn looking for one last rush chance, but John Riggins breaks it up. It's Connor Berman coming away with it for South Carolina. We'll get over to Richatelli. Richatelli fires on. It's blocked. But Richatelli, oh, what a chance there Auburn had, but Richatelli smothered it from his backside. And that one is fired all the way down, and it will be icing with 1.3 seconds remaining in the period. Spencer Auburn would have had a 2-on-0, but from his seated position, Richatelli kept the puck on his stick.
Yeah, you know, his long shot there got blocked by the Auburn defender right in front of him. He falls down and just says, you know what, don't even need to stand up. Just played it from the ground and did a great job kind of stifling that break. It's a heads-up play.
Absolutely, and the face-off for Auburn will come with like enough chance to make an attempt at a shot.
Just maybe.
Taking the face-off for Auburn will be Colin Dube. You know, we haven't seen tonight for the Tigers is number 27, Napoleon Bellinger, which is my favorite name ever.
I mean, just awesome.
I was going to find an excuse to say it no matter what.
I mean, guys from Quebec.
They have added 5/10 of a second left. That one was put on. They kind of almost had a chance, but it'll drift wide, and that will end the second period of play with South Carolina leading this one 5-2. They netted 2 goals in the period. Auburn netted 0. Spencer, your thoughts?
Well, I'll just repeat the goal scores in times for you. So to start off the second, the 18:44 mark, Carson Scove slotted one home on a Tommy Marvin assist. And with 3:34 left, John Riggins earned a hat trick, again off a Tommy Marvin assist. I believe Marvin has at least 3 assists on the night. Doing a great job just feeding the family. He's led the team last year in assists, so it's really no surprise. But for South Carolina, I think they played really well. They kept the pressure up. And JP, one thing I was going to mention during the second period is how good South Carolina typically looks in the second period. No matter how the first period fares for them, after that first little talk from Coach Sawal in the locker room, it seems like the team comes out and they have an excellent game plan every second period. This game's no different. They were able to, keep Auburn on their heels the entire period.
I think it shows the conditioning that the team has. But that's going to do it for the second period here from the Plex. We'll be back to bring you the final frame of action in a quick moment. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Period 3 of action between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Auburn Tigers. It's 5-2 Gamecocks after 2 periods of play. Spencer, we've had a whale of a time up here. What are you really looking for both teams as we enter these final 20 minutes of regulation?
I think for the Gamecocks, you just first and foremost, you want to see out the win. And I think the easiest way to do that is just keep playing like you have. Be unselfish, pass around the puck, keep playing aggressive. That's their brand. Why deviate from something that has you in a 5-2 lead so far for Auburn? I said it earlier, JP, you play hockey to win hockey. I think they need to come out, be aggressive, be more aggressive than they have. And again, I don't love the long shots. It's worked on those deflections when there's clear pass to goal, but really they're not giving themselves any easy opportunities. They're trying to, a good saying, they're trying to put the stamp on the letter. You just got to get it in the mailbox. You know what I mean? You're doing a little too much when they just need to try and maybe pepper some shots at Tomoy. JP, what do you think Auburn's got to do to try and get back in this one?
Well, they need clean zone entries. They've carried the puck into the Carolina zone, I think, approximately like 2 times.
Yeah.
And they just haven't.
It's not. It's impossible to be sustainable on offense without being able to carry the puck, and so we'll see what they can do here. But the Gamecocks do come away with it. Severio Marcella seen with in street clothes, so can't expect him today. But John Riggins has it. Riggins puts it on wide. Drew Henderson getting to it. Colin Reed with it behind the net, gets it over to Riggins. Riggins dumps it off. Back behind the net, Colin Reed. Reed will play it to Riggins off the boards. Riggins loses it in the corner, but Carson Scove is able to get to it. Tommy Marvin down to Scove. Scove puts it on, blocked by a body. Drew Henderson looking for an opportunity, but it's deflected by an Auburn player. And the Tigers will finally be able to clear it. It'll be Carson Scove. They'll go for a change.
But as you mentioned right there, JP, they're able to clear, not able to get the puck into their own offensive zone. And it's been like that all game long.
Well, that's part of, you're hemmed in your own zone so much. You got to get your guys off, get fresh ice time. But you'd love to see them be able to take advantage of one of those clears. But Nick Kay is going to win it down. He'll fire it on wide of the net. Puck was looking like it was going to move around the boards. It just kind of died, and Auburn will come away with it. They'll pass it up. It's played into the South Carolina zone. Tomoyan will shift it off for Ronan Mulcairn, but it'll be the Tigers coming away with it. Centering pass is broken up, however, and Jake Pushkar is on the attack for the Gamecocks. He'll play it over to Nick Kay. Kay over to Pushkar, and it goes wide. They had McMaster leaning. That one is deflected back behind the net. Gamecocks looking to get to it, but it's going to be Auburn with the loose puck. And there's a pass up, and he'll have Daly on his left. He'll absorb the hit.
But just nothing doing there for Auburn. They're kind of, whenever they do bring the puck into the South Carolina zone,
they just kind of listlessly drift down the boards.
And they don't bring the rest of the team up. It was the 2 forwards up there, but the 3 defensemen kind of just hanging out in the back.
Absolutely, but that one's won off the board by Auburn. Backhanded chance deflected wide.
See, they're just now getting to the blue line, JP. They can't even set up.
No, but, Auburn still with a chance to win it off the boards. Ben Riccitelli with a nice play there. Puck loose. Instead of playing it to his guys on the blue line, Auburn tried to do something with it, but the Tigers will retain possession. That one's put on. That one is fired, and it's saved by Tomoyan, and it'll go wide. And now, off the rush, it'll be South Carolina with a chance. That one's dumped in and deflected off of McMaster with an opportunity to find the back of the net, but it went wide. Auburn will come away with it now as both teams getting in a little bit of track action. It's going to be a onside play. That one's put on, deflected before it could even get to Tomoyan. Up to the blue line for the Tigers. They'll shoot it down and around. Duquesne gets to it. And that one is put on wide. Another weird, shot attempt from Auburn, just with nothing to really set it up. Played over to Finelli. Finelli trying to make a move through the waters of the Auburn defense.
To me, JP, it looks like Auburn's a little too worried about conceding goals at this point in the game. You know, you're down 5-2, and yet they're still trying to, race South Carolina back instead of buying into an all-out attack here.
Yeah, and so, it's just led to a lot of timidness, I think.
In the offensive end of things for Auburn.
And 4 minutes have just came and gone already in the third period. The time is not the Tigers' friend.
Nope, they need 3 goals just to equalize. And it's hard to get that when you don't attempt a shot on goal. Tigers with it down in the corner. South Carolina comes away with it, fired it on net. Brendan Flaherty will get to it. They got it behind the net. Big hit there by Auburn. Not able to capitalize. Kept in is Kai Bunsukin. That one's put on. Flaherty has it. Oh, it just jumped off his stick a little bit. Flaherty still looking to play it around from behind the net. He's taken down. Winklebleck skating with it now, and Auburn will clear it. Auburn with a chance. And not able to get to it to prevent it, or not able to get to a separate shot on goal, but then they played it over, and it was saved masterfully by Tomoyan. But Duquesne
With the pass over to T.J. Runchi.
the 2 goal scorers for Auburn on the night, linking up, trying to get a third one on the board.
Now, that was a great offensive opportunity for the Tigers. They finally get down there, and when they've had numbers, that's the only time they've really scored goals that are off Gamecock turnovers. And it was a perfect storm right there. Just couldn't get it past Tomoyan. JP, I feel like a lot of offenses struggle with that same problem.
Yeah, they do, and, they do have an opportunity here to try and flip the script. They've struggled on the face-off dot all night long. We'll see what they can do. That one is won back by Auburn, but they're not able to get a stick to it, and coming away with it are the Gamecocks. Connor Berman working it down into the Auburn zone. He's taken down, but Feldman has it. So the Feldman, Winklebleck, Berman line. Clavin and Dunphy at the blue line for the Gamecocks on the ice. And Winklebleck just lost that. And a whistle behind the play. I think
Runchi, I believe, was holding his head a little bit.
I think Feldman might be entering the penalty box.
Sure will.
And it'll be a 2-minute power play for the Auburn Tigers. So a 2-minute minor assist to South Carolina with 14:43 to go.
Was that a high stick there? If he was grabbing his head,
yes,
I think so.
I think it was a high stick behind the play. And what do you think about these sleeker, helmets for Auburn? They look almost more like football helmets. They possess the stripe.
Yeah, they're definitely interesting. I think Auburn has a pretty nice color scheme. So I think they have nice uniforms. Again, I'm rocking with the cream unis all day long, but you get the luxury of wearing those when you win a national championship.
That's true, and South Carolina will win the faceoff. Come away with it. Pushkar played it to himself. He's going to win the race down there. Pushkar bringing it around the net, but he loses it.
But he kills 15 seconds himself right there, JP.
Yes, he does, and Auburn looking to counterattack. It's going to be Daly. Daly working it down, but he's trying to play it off the boards to nobody. They get it back down to Daly, but it's lost. It's going to be a 2-on-1 chance. Pushkar over to Scove. Now Marvin with the trailing shot, and he scores! Tommy Marvin, the penalty kill, produces a goal for South Carolina at 6-2 with 14:11 to go.
That was a great pass. You saw Scove go to Pushkar, back to Scove. Scove just, instead of moving forward with it, just kind of let it drift back through his legs, allowed Marvin to just have a free shot, and the lefty just buried it. Marvin, I think, has had a really excellent game. As I mentioned, at least by my estimation, he has 3 assists, and now he adds a goal on top of it. JP, this offense has just been amazing tonight.
Yeah, it has, and I think Auburn is really starting to kind of feel it now with 14:11 to go. They still have the power play opportunity, but it would be a power play goal that just gets a goal back. You just lost. So they're still being harassed in their own zone by Nick Kay. And Auburn will try to carry it into the South Carolina zone. They do. It's Buchanan looking for somebody, anybody. He'll get it up to the blue line. Auburn working it around, but South Carolina is suffocating the passing lanes. Back up to the point. Working it over. Cross-ice pass for Auburn. They'll put it on, saved by Tamoyan. Follow-up chance, Auburn can't get a stick to it, and South Carolina is able to clear it down. That was a good chance by Alex Duquesne. But, you know, the leaking puck out in front, Tamoyan couldn't get to it, but neither could an Auburn player. So now Auburn on the counterattack, fresh bodies on the ice for South Carolina. Working it down is Duquesne, but he loses it off this poke check by Ben Riccitelli.
Yeah, really nice stick work there, as Duquesne's really been the main guy for Auburn offensively, and just dispossessing him is super key.
Yeah, Auburn looking for a little bit of give-and-go action. They'll work it back to the point. Back near side. That one's blocked by Ronan Mulcairn. Centering pass back to the slot. Out in front for Auburn. Second chance, no good. Tamoyan with 2 quick saves in succession. With 8 seconds remaining on the power play, 12:51 remaining on the game, Auburn just cannot get out of their own way.
They really can't. And the one, you know, where the puck was in the crease, not this past chance, but the previous one for Auburn, I think that was their best offensive play, if you will.
Chance.
Yes, because, you know, they've scored goals, but a little bit more fluky than that. That was a really good job building a chance, but nothing to come of it.
Now it'll be off the face-off chance, Connor Berman racing the other way for the Gamecocks, but that one is played away. It'll be number 23 for Auburn. He'll fire it on wide of the net. Missed it high. Tigers looking to keep it in. They will, but then it's ricocheted into all the way down behind the Auburn net. No icing. Connor Berman down there to harass the Tigers. Ronan Mulcairn will try to fire it on, but I think it was offside.
I think you're right.
Well, we have a referee conference. Yeah.
Well, 12:20 left. Again, Gamecocks lead 6-2. What have you seen so far in the third period so far from the Gamecocks that you've liked, JP?
Well, just about everything. I mean, their defense has been very. Tamoyan has been on point.
Hey, I tossed you a softball there.
Yeah, you did, and I appreciate it. Oh, that one is shot all the way from center ice, saved by McMaster. Yeah, for those unfamiliar, we're having a bit of a flu game performance, so I appreciate the softball. Not that I have the flu, I don't feel very great.
Hey, I tell you what, me and JP are senior semester students for any USC grads or people that know how that whole program works.
It's taking my soul.
It's, you know, pretty much a 40-hour week,
Yeah.
9 to 5 every day. We know what we're getting ourselves into, I guess.
But it's been about a 40-hour week for South Carolina in the Auburn offensive zone. Auburn finally able to get it out, but it's played right back in by a Gamecock stick.
I hope they get their paychecks after this. They've earned them.
Well, you know, Auburn with a chance on the odd man rush, but guess what? They were offside. It's just been that kind of night for Auburn. Well, 11:46 to go.
Count down every 30 seconds, JP. But no, it's one of those where, you know, Auburn in a boat couldn't find water. It's been pretty tough, especially after the first period. The last time they scored was in the 4:09 mark. It was Alex Duquesne. The other goal scorer at 6:33 was TJ Runchie. But as we talked about, you know, before this third period started, kind of after their first talk from Sirwa after the first period, this Gamecock squad, they really get into high gear.
And on comes John Riggins, who disappeared, I believe, for an equipment malfunction. He has returned to action from the locker room. As South Carolina was whistled offside.
I was going to say, I don't think
He's really
anybody's.
needed.
Yeah, you know, John Riggins could do just about anything as long as he doesn't get thrown out of the game or hurt. And
Tamoyan will play that one to avoid icing and to avoid, you know, a stoppage of the clock. But South Carolina off the rush here. It's going to be Brendan Flaherty, but it was broken up by a nice stick play. But Flaherty couldn't quite play it there as they had to touch up. They were offside. Auburn trying to chip it all the way down. They will not get to it, and it will be icing on the Tigers with 11:02 to go. It was an ambitious attempt.
You know, I was about to ask you, I'm not quite sure how much sense that makes. You know, clearly you haven't been the quicker team than South Carolina all night long, and trying to dump and chase just doesn't seem very smart, but, you know. JP, let's look to the future a little bit. These two teams will face off again at 5:30 tomorrow in Game 2 of their 2-game series this weekend.
Yeah, I wonder who will be on the.
As that one was put on, and it scored. Sorry, I was trying to hype up my color man, but South Carolina has converted the extra point. It was Aiden Dunphy, his second goal of the season, and South Carolina's hockey team has scored a touchdown more recently than the football team has, Spencer.
I just know you were waiting to say that all game, and I can't blame you because this is a much more fun offense to watch than watching inside zone and motion.
Pointless motion.
I love it. I love this. I like watching Cock hockey a lot more than Gamecock football as of right now. Hopefully we'll be pleasantly surprised tomorrow against Alabama, but I highly doubt it. But as we were talking about, JP, Gamecocks, again, Gamecock hockey, that is, will take on Auburn again tomorrow at 5:30. It's going to be myself and Calvin DeLude on the call. It's going to be a lot of fun, JP.
Yeah, and Colin Daly and George Clavin just had a lot of fun there at the center ice. They collided. Marco Pineda getting to it for the Gamecocks. And it's going to be Daly coming away with it for Auburn, and he absorbs a big hit from Clavin. And Clavin wrestles the stick away, and it will be a penalty on the Gamecocks. Shocking approximately nobody. Clavin, he's just going ahead to the penalty box. He doesn't even care.
Yeah, no, that was the same penalty we saw from Auburn earlier where they, sticks collide and bit of a brutal encounter. Just sees a stick fly up in the air, It's no surprise, but again, Daly's been kind of that gnat in your ear. You know what I mean?
He has indeed. Daly, Dukaman, and TJ Runchi
have pulled it off for Auburn today. Not many others have, as that one was deflected out in front. Auburn had it in the offensive zone, and like ships passing in the night, they came and went. Daly racing down to it. But what I was saying before the Dunphy goal, our Spencer Ball will be on play-by-play, and that should be exciting for you because you might see some players who didn't even get to play much today, as that one was pickpocketed away and sit down the length of the ice as the penalty kill for the Gamecocks. Has a goal differential of +1 tonight.
You can certainly be very happy with that. They win it back in the Auburn defensive zone, and this is kind of a trademark of this South Carolina hockey team. They love to pressure even when they're, up against the glass on the kill.
Yes, they do, and Auburn's bench is just kind of watching it like, good Lord. I mean, their body language after each South Carolina play is telling it more of a story than
the Iliad.
And what's crazy is this is one of their tamer defeats on the year.
It is, and South Carolina defending a rush here for Auburn. That one's put on wide of Tomoy. They just have not been on target with any of their shots. Daly with a chance, and it's blocked. Colin Reed looking to get to it. It's going to be Drew Henderson who will play it down to Reed. Reed has Scove to his right and Marvin behind him. Reed will play it off the boards, and two players will collide. Nothing doing there. Drew Henderson coming back to it at center ice, and he'll just play it down, looking to kill some time. Under 25 seconds to go on the power play for the Auburn Tigers. And South Carolina has outshot them on this power play. That one misses an Auburn stick, and it's just going to go all the way down for some icing. Auburn has committed icing while
a little
on the
bit of
power
icing,
play.
JP. How about it? And somehow, in a 4v5, Auburn is stuck in their defensive zone. It's kind of absurd. JP, the Tigers played a really, really good first period. Since then, it's not looked so good.
No, it has. It's gotten so sad for Auburn that the Plex DJ is playing Juice World to serenade them back to their middle and high school days. But coming away with that one on the face-off is Auburn before they lose it onto the boards. I mean, Drew Henderson.
It's very telling of the game.
Yeah, Feldman was one on everyone there, and he still was tying up possession as the penalty has subsided. And it's going to be Auburn trying to keep it in. Ronan Mulcairn almost committing a high sticking, but South Carolina gets possession back with a little over 8 minutes to go in this one. 7-2 your score.
And you got to think, non-egregious penalties are probably going to be just left by the wayside here.
Yes, they are, as it'll be Matthew Winklebleck trying to carry that one in for South Carolina. But, Tyler and I did this during the Charleston game. We started naming some guys. Remember Jack Santoro?
Dude, of course I remember Jack Santoro, listed as 165 pounds soaking wet on the Cock Hockey website.
Yeah, that was awesome. No, but no, being serious, Auburn trying to get it away. They do, knock it out of their own zone. They're going for a change, and Ben Riccitelli's going to try and take advantage, but Auburn does get a stick to it. They had a chance at an outlet pass and didn't do it. So Matthew Winklebleck will get back to it for the Gamecocks. We're going to see a lot of, I think, these young guys, Winklebleck, Feldman, and Berman, as well as Enzo Finelli.
Maybe Bonsukin as well, another freshman.
He's been very good so far this year for the Gamecocks. And we have a whistle. I think did South Carolina just commit? I think South Carolina may have just committed too many men on the ice.
No. Do not take notes from this Auburn team.
No.
That is not anything from their game you want to copy. But it is going to be another Auburn power play. 7:01 left to go. But JP, one thing that we love to see, positive YouTube comments, like telling us how to pronounce people's names. If your family's other players, hey, let us know if we're doing anything wrong, because
we appreciate it greatly.
It's really up to our guess if we don't know.
That one is put on Auburn with a second-hand chance. Third chance, but they couldn't quite get enough power on it. And Auburn giving me a reason to kind of put the excited announcer voice back on.
Ever so briefly.
Yeah, ever so briefly. Words so easy. And the Tigers, this could be Daly trying to win a race all by himself. Half of Auburn's chances have come from number 22, Kalen Daly, winning races all on his lonesome. That one's kept in at the blue line by who else? Daly. Daly puts it on, but he couldn't get a stick to it. That was number 11, Brent Kinshert.
Yeah, Daly, I think, has really been the unsung, maybe not unsung hero, because we've talking about him a lot. We've sung about him, but, if you're looking at the stat sheet, you won't see much of him on there because he doesn't have a goal or assist, I don't think, on the night. But, he seems to be like the only skater that can keep up with the speed of South Carolina so far, even, as you mentioned, winning races down the ice.
Absolutely. And now Auburn, with 55 seconds on the power play, does have it set up, and they lose it to Kai Bonsukin. Auburn gets it back, though. They have it on the boards, back behind the net. They'll lift it up to the blue line. Deflected. Daly gets it down low. Bonsukin with a nice play there with his stick. 30 seconds remaining on the power play for Auburn. They're just surveying some more. Put on, looking for a deflection. Tomoyan can't find it, but he eventually smothers it, and it's frozen with 16 seconds. I think that one was deflected by number 18, Colin Dube.
And it was fired on by Caleb Patillo. And actually like that play from Auburn, JP. They screened Tomoyan really well. And I believe it was Dube almost with a jumping deflection there, really trying to block the vision, just couldn't sneak it past Tomoyan. I think he's one of the best goalies in College Hockey South and one of the best in Cock Hockey recent memory.
And Nick Kay involved in a major collision with number 13, Jordan Pacuris for Auburn. There on the boards. The Tigers, as the seconds tick off their power play, with possession in the neutral zone. That one is rifled into the Carolina zone. Under 5 to go here from the Plex as the Gamecocks look to capture win number 6 on the season. Aiden Dunphy gets to it for the Gamecocks, but Auburn does win it on the goal line. Looking to play it in off of Tomoyan. Centering pass, put on, shot, scores! Auburn gets on the board for the first time since the first period. It's Landon Patz, the starting forward. 7-3 your score with 4:36 remaining.
Touchdown to a field goal, JP.
Yes. I feel like if South Carolina and Auburn played in football, this would probably be the final score.
You might be right. That might be the worst football game of all time. So thankfully, we get to see him face off on the ice. Again, a nice finish there from Auburn, just cluttering the net, and Pat's found a loose puck. And really, that's where all their success has come on the offensive end so far. It's just been pucks left kind of unattended to with a little bit too much space. And when Auburn can put it on target, They haven't been bad so far tonight, but JP, that's been one of their problems. Just not enough shots on goal.
No, and Carson Scove will come away with it in transition. And that even got blown up there. Drew Henderson has it now. Down to Pineda. Pineda with a nice centering pass, but it was broken up in the slot by a Tiger. And racing through there was number 88, Joshua Hockey, according to the Auburn website.
Josh Hockey just got demolished.
We finally had an excuse to say his name. He is massive, though. Now Carolina will carry it in. It's Tommy Marvin working down. Marvin with a pass through the goal line, but nobody was home to hammer it down.
If that had snuck in,
Would have been chills.
that would have been insane. Just crazy stick work there from Marvin.
Absolutely, as Carson Scove gets to it. Pass out in front. Pineda couldn't get his stick to it. Auburn coming away now. They'll get up to Drew Henderson. And we have a penalty coming up to South Carolina for interference. I think it's going to be Marco Pineda hitting the box. The puck was gone. It was a little late of a hit.
Yeah, and you know, Auburn and South Carolina doing a little jawing. You know, I think one team has the clear advantage in trash talking when you're up 4 goals.
You know, that's true.
But also, South Carolina definitely committing some dumb penalties, and it would be it's things you want to see cleaned up, especially against a better opponent. But don't think they have too much to worry about with only under 3.5 left to play.
Yeah, but that one's won by Auburn and kept in. So with 3:20 to go, they do have the man advantage and the puck in the Carolina zone. No longer, as that one's shot out of play, deflected as Ronan Mulcairn tried to clear it. They're going to bring the faceoff out of the South Carolina zone. 3:15 remaining here in the third period. 7-3 your score. Gamecocks lead. Winkleblick wins the faceoff for Carolina. Mulcairn rockets it all the way down. McMaster touching it up.
And now the Tigers are going to get to it.
And they do make a nice play there, and it's Kalen Daly off the recipient, and he fires it on. Glove save by Tamoyan.
Yeah, again, it's another really good effort from Daly. Just couldn't get it past Tamoyan, but using his speed, and he's been really good on the defensive end, cutting out some passes, but when he gets some open ice, he's really found some space tonight, just unable to get himself in the score sheet just yet.
Yeah, and that faceoff is won back by Auburn. Kalen Daly fires it on. It's deflected up and out of play.
I'm so used to saying that the faceoff's won by South Carolina. It's kind of like muscle memory there.
It has felt like that all night, especially when guys like Carson Scove or John Riggins were in the game. It was almost seeming like an automatic win for the Gamecocks at times, as they probably won a good 75% of them if we had that tracking data.
Absolutely.
Hey, give us the ESPN production budget. Oh.
Yeah. That one's up at the blue line for Auburn. They're working in around 1:05 remaining on the power play. Fired on, deflected, up and out of play.
You know, speaking of the ESPN production budget, sorry to cut you off, JP, but one thing we've seen, at least throughout our time here, is the growth of college hockey, especially at this level. What do you think what's the limit to this?
I don't think there is one, truthfully. As you know, we saw NC State. The rest of their home games will be on ESPN Plus. And you know, the game keeps on growing, especially in college, like the southern U.S. You know, more and more guys are coming to these schools to play hockey. They're not going to the school and then, I'll join the hockey club afterwards. 50 seconds remaining on the power play for Auburn. They had a good shot on, but Tamoyan saved it. A little over 2 minutes to go. Puck is just being kept in the corner, and they'll get a whistle it dead. We'll redo that entire possession, I suppose. And both teams are going to go for a wee bit of changes. .43 seconds remaining on the power play. With 2:10 to go in the game, Auburn still needs 4 goals to tie, and they're running out of time to do it. They win that faceoff, though, and they'll try to play it back behind the net, but it got deflected up into the air. Now it's tied up on the boards again. Auburn does come away with it, though.
Nice defensive play from Flaherty right there.
Yeah, Flaherty just knocked that one and
Blew up the entire attack. He stole it off the stick of Landon Pats.
And now Albers is up there for the Gamecocks, hounding them defensively. Duquesne moving it in for Auburn. He'll carry it in. He's surveying. That one's deflected, and Auburn is able to keep it on side, but Duquesne was not expecting that pass. And Auburn had a little bit of a window there, but they weren't able to get it. Centering pass goes wide off a stick.
The kill's complete there, JP. We've back to even strength here.
Absolutely, with 1:18 to go in this one, and South Carolina gets to the boards. They get the puck. Now Brendan Flaherty over to Winkleblick, back to himself. Winkleblick puts it on, and they had a chance there. They had McMaster leaning. Auburn player goes down there with a tripping, but they're not going to call it. Auburn is just going to send that one the length of the ice. Tomoyan's going to come out and play it to avoid icing. Flaherty gets to it. 50 seconds remain. Both teams going for changes in South Carolina, which I think just going to take the air out of this one. And they are well on their way, moving to 6-1-1 on the season.
Really 7-1, JP.
Truth Nuke, yep. And the Gamecocks are just going to work it down. It's Josh Wilkins over to Berman. Played down by Flaherty. 25 seconds now left. Enzo Finelli skating around. Wilkins has it for the Gamecocks. They'll get it out in front. Finelli was teeing up like he was going to try something. And Tomoyan with a high-effort play to avoid the icing there.
Tomoyan's ready to go home, man.
I think he is, yeah. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's going to do it, folks. The final buzzer sounds. Auburn has finished, the first of their 2 games here at the Plex. South Carolina wins 7-3. Spencer, your thoughts on the game as a whole?
Well, JP, I think on the whole, South Carolina played a really, really complete game just in general. Both sides of the puck, they were excellent. Offensively, though, I think we saw the teamwork on total display. There was a lot of really great passing that led to a lot of the goals we saw. Tommy Marvin, a guy I want to highlight. I mean, I think 3 assists and a goal for him. We'll, of course, see that officially in the stat book, hopefully before tomorrow's game. But, I mean, he was incredible. John Riggins with a hat trick. And a guy like Aiden Dunphy, the young sophomore, had a really, really impressive game to me as well. But you could have named about any player in the cream and Garnet today, JP, and they looked impressive.
Yeah, we'll wrap things up here with a post-game show live here from the attic as the teams make their way into their locker rooms. We'll be right back to wrap things up here after a wee bit of a break. Well, we're back here from the attic to wrap up another Cock Hockey victory here from the Plex. Spencer, the Gamecocks win this one 7-3 to move to 6-1-1 on the season. Personally, I think my pick for player of the game has to be John Riggins. He kind of put this one on ice with an excellent hat trick. But, it's not the end of the weekend for Carolina. It is for me, but you got something special tomorrow, don't you?
That's right. I mean, while JP heads home to, celebrate his birthday, give the kid a shout out. He's going to see his family. A couple weeks late, of course. Hey, I know his birthday. We're pals. But
screw you, Helene.
That's I think we could all agree on that. But, hey, great to see how the community's rallied together. Actually, a Helene relief drive right here at the Plex today. So Cock Hockey not only getting it done on the ice, but for the community. That's a great cause right there. But, again, their weekend is not over. Myself and Calvin DeLude will be on the call tomorrow against the same Auburn Tigers. Puck drop at 5:30. Again, right here on Student Gamecock Television. You don't want to miss it. It should shape up to be a good one. This one was really fun. JP, you got anything else for us?
Well, I want to know who your player of the game is, champ.
Well, if I had to pick one, since you picked Riggins, I feel like that's, you really can't go wrong with him. I'm going to say Tommy Marvin because he is really instrumental. He's a great passer for this team, but also had a pretty sweet goal himself. The whole team really played great today, though.
And both those guys were key to maintaining things early when Auburn was right in the thick of things. It was 3-2 at the end of one. Well, the Gamecocks outscored them 5-1 the rest of the way. That's going to do it from us here in the attic. We'll be back. Well, he'll be back tomorrow to bring you more Cock Hockey, but that's going to do it for us tonight. We're Student Gamecock Television. I'm JP Barry.
I'm Spencer Ball. I didn't know if he was going to say my name. Wait, you fell apart at the goal line.
Fumble. Good night, Carolina.